Hey, thank you very much for joining me on this video. I'm going to start out with a little confession. I hate exercise. Some people love it. I've talked to people and they've been working out in the gym for an hour and a half and they just hate when that hour and a half comes by and they have to leave. I've never felt that way. I find that the way to keep me into exercising, and I do some exercising, is a degree of accountability. Sometimes it can be personal accountability. I remember when I first started out in some of the exercise groups I was doing, I would set a goal for myself to do it continuously for 100 days. And because I didn't want to fall off the rails on that 100 days, it would keep me at it. In fact, one of the exercises I really didn't like doing was abs. And so I decided that, and my trainer told me that you could do this. You didn't have to take a rest in between. I decided I was going to do ab exercises every day for 365 days. I remember being at a convention down in the US. A bunch of friends of mine were going out for dinner. They asked me to join them, and I said no. I'd love to have been out with them for dinner. Don't see them very often, a couple times a year, but I didn't want to fall off the rails. I was at like 271 days or something. I didn't want to fall off at that point. There was that goal that kept me going. And then I had a trainer, and the trainer worked with me 2-3 days a week. And it was early in the morning, for me anyway, up there at 7 o'clock. I didn't like the early mornings and I didn't like the exercises, but I didn't want to let them down. So I would show up there because of accountability. I was accountable to the trainer. And then of course in real estate, a lot of us have seen the difference that a salesperson can find in their career because they sign up for coaching. And the biggest thing about coaching isn't letting somebody know amazing truths they didn't know about selling real estate. It's holding them accountable, that they're going to do what they're said they're going to do. Well, we've experienced all this kind of stuff in life too. How many times are we made promises that just aren't fulfilled? You spend any time on Facebook and there's so many offerings that they make for you. I saw one the other day that was Costco, and I understand that from time to time Costco has a one-day sale, great sale. Well, this was for generators, and a power generator when the power goes off, but it was like $35. It was unheard of. But they had the Costco logo and it looked so official. So my wife called Costco and asked them about it. They said, absolutely not. We don't do it that way. So it was somebody running a scam. Gold coins, 1 ounce coins. I saw one advertised on Facebook the other day. It was a US gold mint coin, and they had it on for $29.95, one per customer. Well, in Canada, a gold coin, 1 ounce coin, runs you about $2,700. You're not going to get it for $27. But they count on a bunch of people ordering it, and then the order never comes through, and they figure, well, what are they going to do? Sue them? You got to find them first. And so they make these offerings. Or here's one you see all the time. Take this magic pill, and you'll lose weight. You don't have to diet. You don't have to exercise. Just take the magic pill. And of course, it's always setting you up for disappointment. They're over-promising and under-delivering. And it's the same thing with service providers. You hire somebody to do your roof, or maybe you get a contractor to do renovations, and they come in and then they start the project, and then they're missing in action for 2 or 3 weeks. And of course, they've got a lot of different jobs to juggle, and they don't want to turn down jobs, and so they timeshare between all these jobs they make commitments for. And I understand what they're doing, but for the consumer, it seems to be something that they wasn't told up front and then they experience later. And it's the same thing in real estate. You run into real estate and you see them on ads and you say, you're sold, your price guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Or it says that I'll give you the highest price at the quickest possible time, and all kinds of promises. But often, after the contract is signed, there's a sour taste in the person's mouth. Talked to a consumer the other day who was complaining about the real estate agent he had before he terminated the listing. And he said, I never got any return phone calls. He never did the things he said he was going to do. And then I found out there's other agents that were trying to submit offers and he didn't return their phone calls. Well, you can bet he didn't tell them that up front when they were signing the contract. It's overpromise and underdeliver. One of the things that this new act, the Trust and Real Estate Services Act, is going to aim at is accountability in real estate. They're going to want you, when you take a listing, to make a full list of all the things that you're going to do and the time frame of when you're going to do them. And the seller is going to make you accountable. Where and when are you going to advertise? How often are you going to do open houses? What times? What dates? So on. And what about showing feedback? Inquiry the other day from a friend who wanted to know, they got a property listed for this sale, and they say, how can I find out what the reaction is after a showing? Well, I sold my cottage recently. This is the first time I've been a seller of real estate in almost 40 years. Last one was 1984. I buy, I don't sell. But this, because of lifestyle changes and so on, was necessary. I listed it, and the salesperson that had it listed did a great job of keeping us informed. He was using showing time, and when somebody showed it, he would get the automatic feedback, and he'd make sure I got the automatic feedback. And I found as a consumer, I was looking forward to that. What do you think of the price? What do you think of the condition? How does this stack up compared to the competition? And that was important to me. And the other thing that you can bet, tied in with what's going to happen with the Trust and Real Estate Services Act, is not only is the seller going to be holding you accountable, but the seller will be in a position to terminate the contract if you're not fulfilling your obligations. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think, as I said, the world is set up so much for disappointment. If you want to stand out from the rest, do what you say you're going to do. Always do it. Always exceed people's expectations. And that's what I really want to say to you today is we've got it coming. I don't know what the forms are going to be used and the specifics of the questions and what you're going to have to go through with the consumer. We'll learn that in the next little while. But get a jump start on it. Begin going step by step. First of all, give some thought to what your marketing plan is going to entail. And then detail it. Well, the first thing we're going to do is handle the paperwork. We're going to get the listing agreement signed. We're going to go over agency information. And we're going to take the property information statement. We're going to complete that, and here's why. You go through that. And then you say, the next thing I'm going to do is get up a yard sign. I'm going to put a yard sign, and this is when I'm going to have it done. Then I'm going to get it on the MLS. It'll be on the MLS by so. Then I'm going to have a photographer come in, and we're going to take the pictures, and that's going to be done on such and such a date. Oh, and I'm also going to have a virtual tour, and that's going to be done on such and such a date. And then we're going to go from there, and we're going to post it on the MLS, and it will be live on the MLS by such and such a time. I'm going to be involved in staging. I'll have a stager come in, and they'll work with you, and we'll stage the property, and that'll be done on such and such a date. And on you go, and give some thought to a full, detailed marketing plan of what you're going to do that will first of all sell the seller on your services, and it'll hold you accountable to the seller, and it'll prepare you ahead of time for the Trust and Real Estate Services Act, and it will give you a jump start on your competition. I hope that makes sense. I want to thank you very much for investing your time, and I'll really look forward to talking to you again next week.